You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 12th day of August, 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first one is our live training room. So to get in there, you have to be one of our traders or taking your 1-week free trial. If you've not yet taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through step by step exactly how to take the trial. There's no credit card required. And you get access not just to the live training room, but to everything we offer for 5 consecutive trading days. Weekends do not count against you. So don't worry about what time of day or day of the week you sign up for the trial. When you sign up, you will get 5 consecutive trading days. Holidays come what may, weekends come what may, you'll get 5 days, okay? And again, no credit card required. We want you to focus on what's being taught so that at the end of the trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, at 12 noon Eastern. There's 2 different ways to join this broadcast live, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Go to mytradingiq.com. You only have to do this once. Scroll down to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link, so at 12 noon Eastern, you just click the link in the email and it logs you right into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. There will be days, of course, that you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to get caught up later. You can do both via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. It's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But you don't have to remember all that. Just youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,800 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to, but it is a great resource to have at your fingertips and to let you know we've been around a minute. This is our schedule right here for each afternoon broadcast. At the top of the hour, Michael will join us for a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll do a little live trading on the TradingView platform. Now we'll get started with our daily devotional, which is how we start each and every daily broadcast. Now we're wrapping up this topic. Today's day 7 of 7. Chasing carrots, the endless pursuit of more. Over the last 7 days, we've talked about chasing fame, chasing approval, chasing perfection, chasing achievement, chasing comfort. We'll wrap it up today and talk about chasing God. Today's scripture, Hebrews 12, 1 through 3, from the NIV translation. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Again, that was Hebrews 12, 1 through 3. So, as we wrap up the endless pursuit of more, today we're talking about chasing God. That's a good thing. Where are you going? No matter where we're going at any given moment, it helps to have a destination in mind. The problem with the world around us, however, is that we're bombarded with things we ought to do. We ought to chase fame and approval and everything else. With so many destinations coming at us, it's no surprise how many of us are left stunned, looking for direction in life. If we're only capable of going towards one destination at a time, what should that destination be? Hebrews 12 makes that clear. We're to fix our eyes on Jesus. When we run towards him, we gain not just him, but everything else we need. He paid the penalty for our sins. He secured for us everlasting life. He provides for us every day. And he's transforming us to become the people we were created to be. But how do you run towards Christ? You just do what he did. Prayer. When Jesus needed to recharge after days spent speaking to crowds, he sought out his Father. When he was in distress in the Garden of Gethsemane, he cried out to his Father. Prayer keeps us connected to Christ. People. We were created to live in relationship with other people. Jesus surrounded himself with people throughout his time here, challenging them and encouraging them in their faith. You'll probably chase whatever the people you spend the most time with are chasing. So spend some time with people who are chasing God. Serving. Jesus came to earth to serve. He said so himself. He did so in ways big and small, and he ended his ministry with the ultimate service, sacrificing his life for ours. When we serve those around us, we chase God by doing what Jesus did. Fasting. Whether Jesus was fasting from food in the desert or from time around people when he went away to find silence and solitude, Jesus, the Son of God, knew even he needed to temporarily remove things from his life to chase after God. What can you occasionally remove to chase God? The Word. Jesus had a head start on this. As John 1 says, Christ literally was the Word of God in human form. One of the best ways we can know Christ is spending regular time reading, meditating on, and contemplating God's direction for us in the Bible. Act. Which of the above that we just discussed will you take action on in your life today? How will you start? Who will you tell about it? Someone you trust, someone who will hold you accountable. That's what doing life together looks like. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, help us to lay aside every weight and the sin that slows us down. Please give us endurance to run the race you've set before us, keeping our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Strengthen us to endure hardship, and keep our hearts from growing weary, so we may finish strong for your glory. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy Tuesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. The cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Okay. The Dow is up 453 points. That's a little over 1%. NASDAQ's up 211, just shy of 1%. S&P 500 up 54 points, almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 up 47 points, a little over 2%. This is one strong bullish market. In fact, it's gotten to the point where it says trouble ahead. I'm not a doomsday prophet by any stretch of the imagination. But something's starting to not quite feel right. Maybe it's just me. Crude oil is off 69 cents, trading 63.29 last. That's a drop of a little over 1%. Gold down $5.20, trading 33.9920 last. Silver up 22 cents, trading 38.02 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 897 points, a little over 2%. Shanghai rose 18. The Hang Seng gained 62. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 18, the DAX down 56, the CAC up 54. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK, but so far it is definitely a big green radio Tuesday here in the US of A. One of the strongest days we've seen in quite some time. NQ has put in a new all-time historic high, and I think the ES, at least ES futures, are going to probably today, possibly today, if not today, tomorrow, if things continue in the direction they're headed. Turning to news, Trump declared a public safety emergency in Washington, D.C. yesterday, activating 800 D.C. National Guard members over concerns of violent crime. He also invoked the 1973 Home Rule Act to take control of the city's police department for a maximum of 30 days. Over 100 FBI agents will be temporarily reassigned to nighttime patrol duties. Federal data found crime in the district at a 30-year low. Now, you need to dig in to those crime statistics. This is more of legacy media trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Trump has cast doubt on the findings, pointing to a police commissioner, our commander, who was recently suspended for allegedly falsifying crime data. He also highlighted recent violent incidents in D.C., including a former DOJ employee who was attacked in a carjacking and an intern, Ron Estes, who was killed last month. Attorney General Pam Bondi will oversee federal control of D.C.'s police, with DEA Administrator Terry Cole serving as interim federal commissioner. Trump hopes the federal takeover will model crime reduction tactics for other cities. And we had an explosion yesterday at a U.S. steel plant near Pittsburgh. This tragedy left at least 2 people dead. So our thoughts and prayers are with their families, and 10 injured. The cause of the explosion is under investigation as of this writing, and I bet you there's going to be a whole lot of conspiracy theories spun out of this, except I don't think they're going to be just theories. A lot of people were not happy with this U.S. steel deal. The blast occurred after a fire broke out at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works site in Clairton, Pennsylvania, roughly 20 miles south of Pittsburgh. The facility is the largest in North America for producing coke, a carbon-rich, porous material for steel making. In the process, coal is heated to as high as 1,125 degrees Fahrenheit without oxygen, which removes impurities and yields coke. Not that kind of coke. Through a sequence of softening, liquefying, and resolidifying. The facility produces more than 4 million tons of coke annually. Residents within 1 mile of the plant were advised to stay indoors and set home cooling units to recirculation out of caution. Air quality monitors have not detected toxin levels above federal standards. Well, at least it's not getting ignored like that train derailment. A fresh reading on inflation showed prices for a smattering of goods and services moved higher for Americans in July, creating a dilemma for the Federal Reserve on whether to hold interest rates steady in September. Come on, let's face it, Jerome's going to keep those rates as high as he can till the end of his term. That's what his puppet masters have instructed him to do. The Consumer Price Index for July showed prices excluding volatile food and energy, because we don't use those, rose 3.1% year over year. That was hotter than the 3% economists expected, up from 2.9% in June, when inflation was pushed higher by rising goods prices. Month over month, CPI clocked in as expected, rising 0.3%. On a headline basis, however, CPI rose less than expected by 2.7%, a tenth lower than the expectations for a rise of 2.8%. Markets, meanwhile, are pricing in a 92% chance that the Fed will cut rates by 25 basis points in September. I guess something's better than nothing, right? Stay tuned to see if that happens. Stephen Brown, the Capital Economics Deputy Chief North America economist, said there was a narrative shift for the Fed to contend with in the July CPI data, with tariff effects once again barely perceptible. A stronger gain in services prices, pointing to another above-target gain in the core PCE deflator last month. Brown noted that given several Fed members are now more worried about the job market outlook, this inflation report probably won't be enough to prevent the Fed from cutting rates sooner than previously expected. But it does support our view that markets are overestimating the degree of loosening to come over the next 18 months. Fed has been largely in a wait-and-see mode as many central bankers want to assess the impact of tariffs on inflation. Too late, Powell strikes again. Elon Musk, what a busy guy. Man, if he's not at one of his companies doing something, he's in court suing somebody. Elon Musk took to his social media platform X yesterday to warn Apple that his artificial intelligence company, xAI, would take immediate legal action against the tech giant to fix what Musk alleged is anti-competitive conduct by its App Store. Musk alleged that the App Store refused to feature both X and Musk's AI chatbot, Grok, in its prominently promoted list of apps. Apple did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Musk's claims. Apple is behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for any AI company, besides OpenAI, to reach the #1 spot in the App Store, which is an unequivocal antitrust violation. Now, that's according to Elon Musk, billionaire CEO and owner of Grok, creator of xAI. He says he's going to take immediate legal action. Hang on. Oh, man. Okay. Hey, at Apple. This is what Elon wrote on X. Why do you refuse to put either X or Grok in your must-have section when X is the #1 news app in the world and Grok is #5 among all apps? He added, and why is ChatGPT literally in every list where you have editorial control? Well, I guess they'll fight it out in the courts. At least the lawyers will make plenty of money. We should have went to law school, huh? From Reuters, President Trump today reiterated his call for the U.S. Federal Reserve to lower rates and cited a major lawsuit against Federal Chair Jerome Powell over renovations of the central bank's buildings. Jerome Too Late Powell must now lower the rate, Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social. I am, though, considering allowing a major lawsuit against Powell to proceed because of the horrible and grossly incompetent job he has done in managing the construction of the Fed buildings. Wow, I'm going to go after him personally. Keeps rattling his cage, but it's like there's nobody home. Now here's a wild card. Perplexity AI has made a $34.5 billion cash offer to buy Chrome from Alphabet's Google, according to the Wall Street Journal. That's all the details I have at the moment, but this unsolicited offer just came out of the blue. All they want is Chrome. That's it. $34.5 billion. That's what Perplexity AI is offering. And Google's up, almost 1.5% on the session. I'm sure that news has a little something to do with it. Google, speaking of, is rolling out a new feature called Preferred Sources in the US and India, which allows users to select their preferred choice of news sites and blogs to be shown in the top story section of Google's search results. Enabling this feature means you will see more content from the sites you like. That means if you lean left, you're never going to see any more truth. And if you lean right, you're never going to have to look at that other stuff. I'd be very careful. I think people need to be well informed. I think you need to hear both sides of the story, both sides of the argument. I know sometimes that can make you feel like your head's going to explode, but do you really want just one slant on what's happening in the world? I mean, don't you want to take information from both sides of the conversation and then come to your own well-informed and intelligent decision? So this feature, I think it's available now. See if it tells us how to get there. No, it doesn't. I'll figure it out and let you know tomorrow. And last, Circle. Circle stock jumped as much as 14% in early trading for trimming its gains today after the stablecoin issuer posted better than expected quarterly revenue for the first time since going public. The company reported second quarter total revenue of $658 million versus the $647 million analysts expected. CEO Jeremy Allaire said the company's stablecoin, USDC, was the fastest growing major stablecoin over the past year. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't. But that's okay. There's lots of things in the world I don't get. As long as you get it, that's all that matters. I'm sure you do. People want to go to cryptocurrency because fiat currency, well, you know the whole argument. So let's get a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the dollar. The very thing that crypto was supposed to get us away from. Huh. Oh, well. All right. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. We're currently in week 367. Over the last 367 weeks, we've issued over 20,250 individual handcrafted alerts. I think we're almost at 20,300. Valerie did the recap this morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. It seems a little late for her, but anyway. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 26 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 11. That gave us 15 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 7% so far has been stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, over the last 367 weeks and almost 20,300 individual alerts, what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% of the alerts or less being stopped out based on simple market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, additional targets, and then a final trade to target. If it's a long alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone above. If it's a short alert, it will be the weekly trading zone below. Purpose of the alerts, the logic alerts, is to help you learn how to read a chart. Yeah, you can trade them, but please use them for the purpose intended. Okay? Use them to learn how to read the chart. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Now, the logic alerts come out well ahead of them triggering. At a minimum 20 minutes, often more like a few hours, and sometimes it can be a few days. But once an alert is published, it remains a valid trade opportunity until triggered. Now, 367 weeks is a long time, but many years before we had Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, and they're different. Number one, they don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report shortly before the Globex opened each evening. So last night, 5 minutes before the Tuesday session started at 6 p.m. Eastern, all of our traders and trial members had all of these targets: S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So, as we go through the individual charts, you'll see those targets drawn out on the individual charts. Just keep in mind that all of our traders had those targets 5 minutes before the market opened. So let's go to the daily chart of the S&P. Okay, we are approaching The all-time historic high, 64.68 half. Today's high, 64.57 half. So, what, another 11 points or so? Again, the all-time high, all-time historic high. Right here. 68 half. Today's high. Oh, come on. 57 half. Yeah, so I guess that'd be 11 points, right? Okay. This has been one big move. Now, prices drop faster than they rise. It takes financial commitment for price to rise. For price to fall, all that has to happen is for institutional traders to hit pause on the buy side and price just naturally deteriorates. But for price to rise, people got to put money at risk. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. Stands for bull bear cross. Back here, February 21st, price crossed below the BBC. And we got a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement and a leg. And then we finally closed back above. But you can see the pullback held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on the daily chart. And then once it closed above the BBC, the first pullback held and the second pullback held. The third pullback held, the fourth pullback held. The fifth pullback, it actually held because both of these candles are still touching the BBC. We found support at the 50% fib extension. Now we're pushing our way up. What was the opening price on this day? The opening price was 35 half. So we've exceeded that by about 20 points. But we're still about 11 points away from the all-time historic high. Is that what I said? Did I say 11? I don't remember. 57 half up to 68 half. Yeah, 11 points. 11 points away from the all-time historic high. Now that's on futures. Okay, if you're looking at the cash markets, you got to see different numbers. You can't actually trade the cash index. That's why man invented derivatives like futures and options and other things so that you could actually trade the index. Okay. The green line is called the BBC, stands for bull bear cross. Okay. Pullback holds more often than it doesn't. And leg retracement, I was looking for another leg. We are so overdue for a 24% fib retracement. Now, that has nothing to do with fundamentals. It has everything to do with technicals. But one morning, coming soon to a screen near you, the world's going to wake up and say, what the heck were we thinking? These stocks are incredibly overvalued. And guess what? We're going to remember the day we thought we might get a 24% retracement. I think a 50% retracement is due so that we can get a really strong rally into the end of the year. But who knows? Maybe this thing will keep levitating higher. Our next obstacle overhead is 65.85. That's the 100% fib extension. And then you've got multiple layers of support. And climbing, the BBC, the 62% fib extension, this little double bottom right here, the 50% fib extension, this low, and that only brings you back to the 38% fib extension. 24% fib retracements way over here. Okay. All alerts, both the Logic 247 alerts and the Concierge Trade alerts, are created on the 30-minute chart. Nothing special about 30 minutes. It's just a time frame I chose years ago and stuck with it. I encourage you to do the same. I know you're all executing on smaller time frames on the range chart, but you need something to give you a bigger picture view, because that bigger picture view can give you an idea of what's to come. If you just look at the range chart, you'll get tunnel vision. And if you're doing okay with tunnel vision, then don't worry about it. Okay? If you're struggling, then find what time frame will help you out. But just don't jump every day. Well, today I'll try this time frame. Go, yesterday this time frame worked good, but it didn't work good today, so tomorrow I'm going to try this. Just pick one and stay with it. Okay? The vertical lines separate today, Tuesday, from Monday. Back over here is Friday. The horizontal lines are this week's weekly trading zones. They were published yesterday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. They come out at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, so our traders have time to get them on their charts before Wall Street even wakes up for the week. This was the Sunday night open. Now this zone is 63.92/93. The low is 93.25. Buyers came in here. Oh, this was the Sunday night open. This was last night's open. The Sunday night, yesterday it was just a sideways day until, actually, the weekly zones, when price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. And when price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. So yesterday we did drop to support, caught a bounce, came back to support, caught a bounce, came back to support, consolidated a little bit, and then dropped to the next zone below. And then when we opened last night, right to the zone, support. Support will always send the market looking for resistance, which it found at the zone. Resistance will always send the market looking for support, which it found at the zone. Got a nice little double bottom here. See, when we hit the zone support, we bounced, and we came down and hit it again. So 1, 2, 3 instances of the zone holding as support, which sent us back to resistance. Once, it goes once, twice, 3 times. And we drop back to the zone below again for support. Okay, now this is today, Tuesday. These are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now, off of this support, here's where that 8:30 CPI news came out that we were just discussing. Sent price all the way up to this zone, 64.41/42. Resistance will always send the market looking for support. And I point out almost every day that when we trade through a long target like this, or a short target, when the market retraces, it will often act as support. We spiked it, and then we came all the way down to touch the BBC and the zone, 6408/6409. And then off we go again. This time we go through the long target, We hit this resistance at the zone. Now we're attempting the next zone overhead, 64.59/60. But take a look at the black step line and blue and climbing. See how on this move up they were parallel to each other? But notice what's happening. The step line's gotten directly above blue and climbing. Once that step line crosses from the left side to the right side, you should expect a retracement back to the BBC. From zone to zone to zone to zone to zone to zone, back to the zone, back to the zone. Now we're about to hit this zone. We got a high so far of 58. The zone itself is 59/60. And there's only one more zone above that for the week. And today's only Tuesday. So we'll see what happens if and when we do hit that all-time historic high. Because remember, the first time when we put in that all-time historic high, look at what happened over the next 2 days. We touched 68.5, and over 2 days we dropped to 62.39. Over 200 points. On the Dow, we drew this window of opportunity live on the broadcast yesterday, and we filled it once, and then again we filled it twice. But as red and falling gets directly below price, it becomes potential support because it's on its way to becoming blue and climbing. Walked us right back up to the BBC. We punched through it just far enough to hit the zone, which again we expect to be resistance till proven otherwise. Resistance sent us back to the top of that window, but we didn't enter it. We tried it once, bounced, tried a second time, bounced. These are the only two that fill the window. So then we have this continued resistance at the zone. We get a retracement to the BBC. We actually get below it. And look where these highs are. Right here. Are these lows. Right at the top of that window. And from there, price took off like a rocket ship. Here's the 8:30 news. We spiked the zone and then retraced right back to the top of the long target. Okay? That happens over and over. Keep an eye out for it. Then we got a leg that took us across this zone, across this zone. We found resistance at the zone. Now this high, this is Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Thursday. See this high from Thursday? Need to take that out to keep moving higher. 44,615. High today was 44,583. So we got a little ways to go, but look at the step line. It's crossing. So look for a retracement back to the BBC. And the pullback does hold more often than not. As you can see over here, pullback held, it held, till it traded through. Once it traded through, pullback held, the pullback held. Then we had this snarl. And so we're well overdue for a retracement because price always reverts to the mean. And in our case, the mean is green and it's called the BBC. See how we're consolidating right at the zone? Okay. Step line crosses. Start seeing some red candles on the way back. The Russell. Russell's on fire. It's about to hit the highest weekly trading zone for the week on a Tuesday. Now, when that happens on a Tuesday, we used to say on a Tuesday morning, but I think we just say Tuesday now. If the Russell hits the highest weekly trading zone on a Tuesday, based on 15.5 years of history, that's how long we've published the weekly trading zones, since December 14th of 2009, every Monday. If we hit the highest weekly trading zone on a Tuesday, based on 15.5 years of history, there is a high probability, just based on historical fact, that by the end of the week we could find ourselves at the other end of the spectrum. Here. Now, I wonder how in the world could that happen? I don't know. It's just what's happened most of the time over the last 15.5 years. We're not quite there yet. I mean, there's still a ways to go, but not too far. The high, call it 75. You only need another 3 points, so that's not much. And the step line's just starting to hook right. Once it crosses to the right side of blue and climbing, we'll look for that retracement. Trade every market exactly the same. This was the open last night. Yesterday we found support at the zone, never made it to the zone overhead yesterday. And then going into the close, we found support at the zone. First we had support here, 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 and then we dropped all the way to the zone below. From there we bounced up to the BBC resistance. That sent us down to the zone, which is 23,606/07. That bounced us back up to the BBC resistance, which sent us back to the zone support. And here comes that 8:30 news. Now we take out yesterday's highs, but we don't quite make it on that first move all the way to the zone. We get a retracement back to the BBC, pullback held. First we pull back to the top of the long target, and we get a nice bounce. This was a green candle all the way up. But before the 30-minute period was over, it had reversed and come all the way back to the BBC. And from here, we make a mad run up to, now this is the 10 o'clock candle. This was the 9:30 Wall Street open. It ran up, it ran down, but it found support at the BBC. So now we're trying to get to this zone, which is the second to the highest weekly zone. We're moving fast this week. As I said earlier, something seems amiss. I have no idea what it is, but we'll see it happen. When it happens, we'll go, oh, that. This was the open last night. Yesterday we found resistance at this zone. See those wicks sticking up? That's usually an indication of lower prices. They didn't really happen until this morning. We came up and tested, after the open last night, we came up and tested this zone again and again and again. And then finally we dropped all the way to the short target. And at the zone we consolidated. This is wide-ranging consolidation. Now this low right here is just above. What's this low? 6302, 6306. So we came within 4 pennies of this support area. Okay. Now where's the next support? Down at 6280, conservatively. 6277 is the low, so I would definitely call that 6280. So a trade from 62.95 to 62.80, that would be worth $150 per contract traded. That's not right. What do we got? $62.90, $62.80. Is that what I said? I don't think so. I think I said $62.90. Maybe I said 95 to 80. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So 95 to 80. Is that 80? Yeah. Okay, so that's $150 per contract window of opportunity. Tuesday, Monday, we're looking all the way back to Friday. Okay. Once price enters this window, now price can find support and resistance at any time for any of a gazillion different reasons. But there's no visual reason, once price enters this window, for it to not complete its journey to the bottom of the window. There's no 100% guarantee. Anybody that promises you a 100% guarantee on anything in the world of trading, trust me, they're more worried about your money than you are. All right? All right. So next would be gold. Yesterday was a downhill crash. Looks like we're trying to transition back to an uptrend. We'll see. We'll see. So we opened last night and we hit the zone, which bounced us up to the BBC, which sent us back to the zone, which bounced us back to the BBC. Resistance always sends a market to support. Support sends it to resistance over and over again and again. So right now, we're just kind of heading sideways. We are above the BBC if we're going to get a move to the upside. And the market's poised to do that. So let's see. We'll keep that real simple. 3403 to 3405. Write that down. 3403 to 3405. That's $200 per contract traded. We got one market left. Silver, we'll talk about that when I come back. Michael's here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live trading room, then do some live trading on the TradingView platform. I'll come back. We'll talk about silver. And then we'll wrap it up with our good word for the day.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, looks good.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 12th day of August, 2025. So today, if you have not taken I'm sorry, totally distracted. If you have not taken a free trial, let's go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, right? There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button. When you do that, it's going to bring you to this registration page. Now, on this page, all the way after is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down here at the bottom, gives you TradingView login ID. Hit register, and we'll know you did all that. All right, once we have that TradingView login ID, we can enable the indicators for you and get them indicating on your desktop. Okay. Okay. Let's see. On the today, we ended up with a pretty good day today. comparatively as we had been for the year. This is still 1/3 of what the daily average is, but it was better than yesterday. Today we had the 12th day of August, 2025, made 2 ticks on the NQ. We lost 16 on the Russell, made 48 on gold, and made 8 on the ES. Put us at 510 on the morning session. Today it took 18 minutes and 7 trades to $1,700, and took a total of 32 trades this morning. So the markets were kind of wild today. I don't know exactly what was driving things. Is Trump suing Powell and all kinds of things? I don't know. But anyway, on the month, now we're at $5,507 over 8 business days, averaging $688 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $178,602 over 138 business days, averaging $1,294 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day, and we'd add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you'd be up $98,472. You would only have to work 18.5 hours. That's the key. 18.5 hours, averaging $5,298 an hour. All right. Let's get into the trades. We had a fair amount of trades on everything, so I'm just going to start out with the gold and work my way across. All right. It was just a trade here on the NQ. There's about to be a trade here right now on the ES. There it is on the ES. And that's not a trade on gold, not a trade on the Russell, but there was a trade just a second ago over here on the NQ. Now, back to the things that I was focusing on here. The gold. We had a huge move in gold when the European markets were closing today. Just as they were closing, there was a huge move in gold. And then it flattened right out. Now I started trying to put those horizontal, those vertical lines were trades set up that I didn't get, but I got a little occupied. The markets got kind of crazy on us. All right, so our first trade in gold was right here, and on that trade we picked up 2 ticks. All right, the next trade was right here and picked up 25. That got us to 27 overall on gold. Then we stopped out right there. That brought us down to 12. Brought us down to 12. Had a break even, then we picked up 1 that got us to 13. Then we picked up 5 that got us to 18. Another break even, and then on this one we picked up 25 that got us to 43. And then we had 1 more right there, picked up 5 that got us to 48. That was a huge move. The most I would have gotten out of that would have been 25 because I have a 25 tick target on my gold trades, but still it was a great move from right here. It didn't give you another entry all the way through. You had that 1 entry right there, and if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. Once the break started, though, there was an opportunity to short right here. Easy and obvious trade right there. Right there. Right there. A long trade right there. And that was it. That was it for the session. All right. We ended up with plus 48 on gold. The gold was our big winner today. The Russell, we were down 16 ticks. I guess the Russell was our big loser today. Yeah, it was. And we were up on the Russell. We ended the Russell at the low of the day, but we were up 8 ticks at one point. Now if we go all the way back here to the beginning, here it was. Our first trade on the Russell. Our first trade was right here. We picked up 7 ticks on that. Then we didn't trade again until all the way over here. And we picked up 1 tick on that to get us to 8. And then 6 ticks there to get us to 13. And then we stopped out, put us at -2. We got 1 tick there to put us to -1. And then we stopped out again, put us at -16. And that is where we ended it with Russell. Now, during the break, this was a valid trade right there, a nice trade. This was a valid, this right here. No, that was not a valid trade. That was not. This one was right here. That was a valid trade. Scrolling. That didn't look like it came off the midpoint there, but you could have taken that. If you did take that, you would have stopped out. This was an easy and obvious trade right there. This was an easy, well, it was actually just a little below the midpoint, so I probably wouldn't have done that. And that was it. That was it for the Russell. We ended up with minus 16 on the Russell this morning. Okay, and now the ES. We don't have as much to cover here with the ES today. Our first trade on the ES was right here. We picked up one tick on that. Second one was right there. We picked up another tick, got us to 2. Then we didn't do anything for a little while. Here we stopped out. That put us at minus 8. Then picked up 4 ticks there. And that put us at minus 4. Then we picked up 20 ticks there. That got us to plus 16. And then we stopped out here. And for some reason, I put that at minus 8, but it should be at minus, sorry. Instead of being subtracting 8, we should be at 6 there. 6, not 8. I gotta fix that. That would put us at 6. And that was what we needed the trading. The next opportunity would have been right here. There would have been one. Then that was pretty much it. Could have had one right here. I guess that would have been a break even. This other one would have been a break even too. You would have had 2 break even trades there during the break. Now I'm gonna go fix this in the spreadsheet before I forget. This was a 6, not an 8. Okay. And that was it for the ES. Now we'll move on to the NQ. We had a ton of bars on the NQ, so I'm gonna hit the back button like this, and we'll work our way there. See all those bars, and we're still not to 9:30. I don't know that we're going to go over every trade set that happened. We'll just go over the ones that we took. Okay, because it was wild this morning. One of the things somebody asked me, should they go to a 47 range? And I looked at the 47 range. And you could have definitely done that, but there were no trades where there were probably 50 trades on the 19. There were none on the 47. But on the NQ, this is our first trade right here, and we stopped out minus 25. And we didn't do anything for a little while. Break even there, another break even there. And the market just went wild, and it was wild for a few minutes in here. Okay. All of that is 10 minutes. All those bars right there is 10 minutes. So we took this one, and that put us at plus 20. So we got 45 ticks on that, put us at plus 20. We had a break even. Then I stopped out on this. I don't know why I took that, but I stopped out, and that put us at minus 5. So that was a mistake. I took that break even, that break even, that break even. I stopped out again. That put us at minus 30. We got a plus 4 there, put us at minus 26. Sorry, and then I got a plus 28 there, put us at plus 2. And that is where I ended the trading for the morning session. Now you can see there are just a ton of bars in here. So which ones are actual trades? If you go through quickly, you can see where it's crossing the midpoint while it comes out of the oversold. Okay, crossing up if you're in green, and crossing down if you're in red. Crossing up if you're in green. This would have been one right here. So really, there's only been 2 trades so far. This would have been one right here. This right here would have been 1, 2, right there. Okay, that was it. Not a ton of trades, but we ended up with plus 2 on the NQ this morning. Right, plus 2 on the NQ. Now, Dwayne has probably already covered this, but we are right below all-time highs right here. The high of this bar is the all-time high that was put in at 468.5 on whatever day this was, on the 31st of July, 468.5. And so far today, we're 7.25 points away from that. 7.5 points away from all-time highs on the ES. We got one more and see my little buddy out here. It's at the high of the day right now. That's good. Want that to keep going. And those of you guys who were watching at the beginning of the week, paying attention to what I said at the beginning of the week, beginning of last week, I said, the beginning of the week was just yesterday, but the beginning of last week, I said, if this bar closes where it is, expect to get to all-time highs by the end of this week. We should be there today, I think. Yesterday, I was saying if we get down here near the MA1 BBC, that would be time to look to buy again, look for opportunities, buying call options. If we get down here near the BBC, the MA1, we didn't really get near it yesterday, but you can see prices moved up. We'll see if it sells off when it gets to the all-time highs today. All right, we should be there pretty soon. Could even happen in this session. Interesting stuff, though. Interesting stuff. All right. Does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? I'm about to have a trade here on the Russell and up close on this 73.4 up to 74.4. The Russell would be a long trade. Oops, I wanted to make sure that window was on top and I made it go away. Hang on. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Make sure that window is on top. And we actually did just get filled on that too. Did I have my order in the wrong place? I must have had it in the wrong place. Well, where should it have been? Below is 73.5, so it should have been at 74.5. I had it one tick too close. I didn't see the low get down that far. All right, this is not a trade here on the ES. This is not a trade here on the NQ yet. Right, over here on gold, this is not a trade because it's not coming out of the oversold. Now, does anybody have any questions at this juncture? Anyone? Jill, you and Dan all good? You should have the M in the top of your thing. Should have that M right in there like that. Okay, everybody that's using Denali data should have this M up there for Denali. M for Denali. I don't know what the M stands for, honestly, but I know that means you have the Denali data. And if you're using Sierra, that's what you need to get. You need to be using the Denali data. I put this on top. I did. All right, that's the only thing we have right now. It is 1:13, so we still have 17 minutes left in here. We might get a couple of trades off. This still isn't even a valid trade yet, but I think we're going to get the up close here in just a second, and then it will be a valid trade. And I'm in just one tick better than there. I think up close. Come on, up close. Right there. There it is. Okay, so now I'm in where I should be. It's a valid trade now. It wasn't a minute ago. Okay, all right, Dan. Good. As long as you get the M at the top of your DOMs, then you're all set. Okay. Your little fighting machine. She went somewhere. Let's see if we go. We need 5 ticks in profit on this guy at 0.9. The other needs to be at 0.9. Okay, it should make it all up to 76.2. There was something that I drew earlier. Oh, was this one here at 2270? You guys remember from the morning session? I was reading that in the DOM when we were way down here. Here. Even though I stopped out on that, 2270 was the number in the DOM that it was trying to get up to. And it shot right through that during the break. Now, the number in the DOM doesn't really have anything on the upside. I think it's probably topped out. Get the 72 right here. That's just enough to get the stop to break even. Let's look at the downside. So you have some big numbers on the downside. I do think it wants to go down some here. But charts are saying it's going to go up, so we're ready for it to move up. Gold just made a little bit of a gap up right there. On the NQ, we need a down close to get us into the oversold, followed by an up close. Okay, that's what we need on the NQ. All right, we're almost there on the Russell. Almost there. Okay. We need an up close right there. Okay. All right, one more tick, and we'll have it. We're almost there. Gold's almost got a trade here too. All right, the low on gold right here is 99.4, so you'd be buying 400.4. Got it. Go to break even on this now. Okay, and here's the gold. Make sure that window stays on top. Nothing on these two yet. This one, I believe, is still down there. Let's lock this over now. I don't really need to see the price anymore. 99.4 up to 400.4 is good on that. And there it is, the up close. We're filled. And so now that's going to get up to 400.9. Looks like it wants to get up to 1.4. And what does the DOM say? The DOM says 2.0 is what the DOM says. Okay, I'm going to lock in a little bit on this Russell. And we need to get 5 ticks in profit here on the gold. Okay. All right, there it is. We'll go to break even on the gold. I'm going to lock in 5 on the gold. It's $500. So 401.4. It's already gotten there. So I'm going to lock in a little bit more now that we're at the swing high. I was going to lock in 10, but I'll lock in 7. That's $700. We're out with a break even over here on Russell. I think it was a break even. And we're out with 7 on the gold. All right, so 2 trades down. 2 trades, both profitable. I think, was that a break even or was it profit on that one? Let me go check and see what we got on that. Hang on. There it is. Here it is. What did I got on that? That was the gold. The Russell, we actually got 2 ticks on the Russell. 74.4 up to 74.6. So we got 2 ticks on the Russell and the gold. Let's see. We entered at 400.4 and we filled in exactly 3401.1. So we got 7, 2 and 7. So both of those were positive trades. Okay, that was good, and this was good. We have no trade over here on the NQ right now, and nothing here on the ES right now. Okay. All right. We need an up close over here on the NQ. It's got a low here of 98, so you'd be buying 03. This. Now, as long as the low stays where it is, then the order can stay where it is. 97.75, this goes down to 275. 97.50, this goes down to 250. Okay, so it's positioned correctly right now. We just need it to happen. All right, I don't know if this is going to happen now. Yeah, it would. Okay. It's going to be at 925, though. Right there. All right, but it should trigger us in. Let's just go down a little bit more. There we go. Now we're in. Now 10 ticks in profit and 10 ticks in profit, and we'll bump the stop. So it's going to get up to 275 right here. Okay, hasn't gotten there yet, has it? No. The gold is still moving up over here from where we entered way back here. The Russell kind of stalled out, but it's kind of moving up there. 275 now. Hit it right there. Stop to break even. Let's just lock in a little bit on this so we don't lose any money. And we'll see where we go with this. 906 is the minimum that it should go up to. The DOM's not exactly giving us a whole lot to work with here, but we're going to lock in 4 ticks on this. Then we'll go to 8. There we go. 16. And we're out with 16 on that one. Right. See, this isn't that hard to do. 3 trades, 3 profits. 16 ticks there, that's it's 4 points is what it is, and it's $20 a point, so that's $80 or $800. This one was 2 ticks, $5 a point, so that was $100, and this one was 7 ticks, so that was $700 for me. So I'm up $1,600 in this session with 10 contracts, or $160 with 1 contract. So far. I think that's right. All right. Does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? Anybody? We're almost at a trade here on gold. We need that to close down, get into the oversold, and then bounce up off of that. Okay. Okay, 400.7 is the low on this. It needs a down close to get into the oversold. All right, this needs a down close. This needs a down close. This needs a down close. Everything needs a down close here. We're not going to have any more trades. All right. Just go take another peek out here. See what's going on in this part of the world. So I just want to move that decimal point over 3 spaces. Be nice. Another couple of years, maybe. 400.3. We got the down close over here on the gold. So now for 1.3 is what you're going to be buying on that. Or 1.3. Look at the low on this bar. It's actually 1.4. Look at the low on that bar. It is at 400.4. So you're going to buy 10 ticks above the bottom of the bar. 10 ticks above the bottom of the bar. Buying. Right. The ES needed a down close. It still needs a down close. The NQ also needed a down close, and it still needs it. The Russell still needs it too. Gold is the only one that gave us the down close so far. All right, so gold ended up being no trade. Cancel that order. Cancel. Now we still haven't gotten the down close that we needed anywhere else. All right, now we got the down close, but we're not in the oversold, so we're not going to have a trade here. We could get one on the ES, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to end up with one on the NQ. We have about 2.5 minutes left. So we're running out of time, guys. So we had a profitable trade there, a profitable trade there, and a profitable trade here. We're oversold now, but we moved the midpoint, so we're not going to have anything here. Midpoint's not going to be flat. Okay, it's possible we could go up and then come down and close down, slide that over, and then get a trade. Like if we get a down close on this, it'll give you a flat spot down here in the oversold, and it'll flatten out the midpoint, actually bring the midpoint down. But I don't know, I don't think it's going to turn into a trade. All right, the Russell just flipped the YBR, not the Russell, but the gold just flipped the YBR down. The ES still needs a down close, and the Russell still needs a down close. Okay. All right, we're going to be looking. We're not going to have a trade here on the NQ. You need a flat spot. We could get a trade short over here on the gold, though. Right, we only have about a minute left, but it could turn into a short trade here on the gold. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. Nope. That up close should have moved this bar up. Should move this up, but it didn't. We got the down close here on the ES that we needed. So the ES just needs an up close right now. I don't think we're going to get. And the Russell needs a down close to get down into the oversold. All right, and I have pretty much run out of time. All right, that's it. Let me show you how to do this. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingIQ.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial, absolutely free. That'll bring you to this page. Just fill it out. Down at the bottom, give us your TradingView login ID. If you don't have one, click this button and go get one. It's going to bring you to this page. Watch the video. Click on that. You can see here, the essential will work just fine. I know it says $12.95, but it's actually free. It's not. Well, you click on monthly. It's $14.95, but it's actually free for the first 30 days. So click on that, get yourself an ID, get yourself some real-time data, it costs $7 a month, and then give us the ID, and we'll get your indicators indicating on your desktop for you. Okay? That's all you have to do. I know it sounds like a lot. Really, start with this. Click on that, no credit card required, fill out this form. Start with that, right? And we'll work with you from there. And that is it, guys. With that, I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready.
Yep. Recap of the morning session.
You know what? I don't remember off the top of my head. Today it took 18 minutes and 7 trades to get to $1,700.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, pick up where we left off. Silver. This is where we opened last night. Now, remember, if you weren't tuned in at the beginning of the broadcast, I explained all this, and I've gone through every market in granular detail. So if you missed it and you want to see it about an hour after I log off, you can go to youtube.com/CFRN and watch the entire broadcast in its entirety. So we opened here on this candle and we dropped right to the short target. Now you only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. We opened at 37.63 and down to 54. That would have been 9 pennies. We went a little further, but 9 pennies is $450 per contract traded. So the market finds support. It's going to go look for resistance, which it found at the weekly trading zone. Consolidated for a few hours. Attempted to move higher. Okay. We just barely took out this high right here. Just by a little bit. So we reversed, and then we made another attempt at the long target, but blue and climbing was directly over price. And when blue and climbing gets directly over price, it often becomes good resistance because it's on its way to becoming red and falling. One is bullish, the other bearish. So price gets below the VVC and below the zone. And then the first pullback in the opposite direction, the pullback holds. See, coming down yesterday, the pullback held, pullback held. Right here, the pullback held. And then right here, price came down. We hit this low right here. That bounced us up to the VVC, which gave us a leg to the downside. Buyers came in before we got to that low, drove us back up to the weekly zone. Remember, when price moves up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When it drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. Only one of 3 things happens when price encounters a weekly zone. 70% of the time will be consolidation. 20% of the time will be rejection. That's what rejection looks like, but that was Friday, so these zones were not the zones on Friday. This is Tuesday, this is Monday. The vertical line separates the 2 sessions. So from this low, it is pretty much this low here. It's that low, 37.58 half, 37.59 half. Okay, so buyers came in a penny early for that low. Up to the BVC resistance. And we had a doji followed by this big 11 o'clock candle. That's interesting. Wonder what happened at 11 o'clock. Something happened somewhere. That's a big candle for silver. We opened at 37, we'll call it 70. And ran up 18 pennies. That's $900 per contract traded. From the open of that 30-minute candle to the high. Now, if we look left, I see no real reason for that area to be resistance. Sometimes that happens. Now, this area would have made perfect sense. This area would have made perfect sense. Obviously, that was the long target. So we overshot the long target. We pulled back. The step line's about to cross blue and climbing. So probably we'll get a pullback to the BVC. And this is support times 2. When price drops to a zone, we expect support to prove it otherwise. And when price drops to the BVC or pulls back to the BVC, whether it's from below or from above, we expect it to hold until proven otherwise. And you've also got a bullish cross here. That's where the blue line gets above the green line. So there's 3 reasons for the market to find support in this particular area. May not, but there's 3 solid reasons why it could. So keep an eye on it. And gold, that window still hasn't filled. Yes, we're still at the second highest zone. The Dow. See, the step line has crossed on the Dow. So get ready for a retracement. We've been consolidating at that zone for hours. The Russell has hit the highest weekly trading zone on a Tuesday. Now that's an indication that by close of business Friday, based on 15 years of history, Russell could be at the other end of the spectrum. And if it is, I suspect it will take the other indices with it. In Q, still trying to get that step line across blue and climbing. We keep consolidating sideways. If we don't take out this high, it is going to cross, and then most likely we will see that retracement. Crude. The window of opportunity we drew in earlier, it's still valid. It hasn't triggered yet. But it will remain valid for days, weeks, months, years, until it's triggered. It's a valid opportunity until it's triggered. Gold, silver, and the big picture. Okay, what's the high of the session? 61 and a quarter. 61 and a quarter, the all-time high, 68 and a half. Right there. I suspect the way things look, market definitely wants to. Now look what happened when we put in this all-time historic high. We sold off the day we put in the high and the following day. This was a Thursday, this was a Friday. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yesterday, today. So if we take out this high with gusto, we could be headed for the 100% fib extension. Or there could be this. So as I said, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't, right? And this pullback, it held because both of these candles are still touching the BVC. So what initially looked like a leg, a retracement, and we were looking for another leg to the downside, maybe not the case. Could end up with a double top here. We could end up with a new all-time closing high. We could end up with a new all-time intraday high. We got blue and climbing below, so that's all the market needs. Okay, to become a member, send an email to support@cfrn.net. Let Valerie know you want to become a member. She'll send you an email that explains everything it means to become a passport holder, and she'll provide you with a link that you can click to make your payment to seal the deal. 2 hours of live training every trading day, private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. That's designed to help you learn to read the chart. The concierge trade alerts, the second they're published each evening, typically 5 minutes before the Globex open. Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get the weekly trading zones. We've published them every week for our members since December 14th of 2009, over 15 and a half years. And every Thursday afternoon, you'll get an invitation to attend the members-only workshop. And last but not least, you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. We got public channels, we got private channels. As a passport holder, you got access to everything. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof. One low price. Okay, good word for the day. Keep it simple. Mark 4:33. With many similar parables, Jesus spoke the word to them, as much as they could understand. He broke it down, he kept it simple, he put it in parables. Remember, these were not rocket scientists he was talking to. He was talking to fishermen and tax collectors, regular folk, like you and I. If you're serious about reaching and teaching people, there are 2 things you must try to do. 1, talk to them, not above them. A preschooler was eating an apple in the back of the car. "Daddy," he said, "why is my apple turning brown?" His father explained, "Because after you assimilated the skin on the exterior, the core structure of the apple came into contact with the atmosphere, which caused it to oxidize, thus changing its molecular structure and transforming it into a different color." After a long silence, the little boy replied, "Daddy, are you talking to me?" Can the listener understand and apply what you're saying? Paul told the church at Corinth in 1 Corinthians 3:2, "I gave you milk, not solid food, for you were not yet ready for it. Indeed, you are still not ready." Jesus made a point of tailoring his remarks so the people listening could grasp the message. The Bible says, with many similar parables, Jesus spoke the word to them as much as they could understand. Think about it. Jesus was God, and he could have easily awed us with his knowledge. But because his desire was to change our lives for the better, he stayed on our level and spoke in a language we understood. And you and I must learn to do the same. Number 2. Now remember, number 1, talk to them, not above them. Number 2, say it over and over again. The fundamental law of learning is repetition. It's been said that people have to hear something 16 times before they believe it and really get it. The question that should concern you isn't, what will I say, but what will people take away from it? Big question. Keep it simple. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.